Okay, the Bears are out in force this week, although I think tomorrow, a little better because you got the good AIG, got the good Hewlett Packard. But look, they're fretting about everything from the minutes of last month's Fed meeting, more on that later, to the looming budget sequester. Maybe this is the week that the teddy bears really do get their picnic. Now, I think we're simply dealing with a garden variety pullback here. But whenever the bears start mauling the market, it pays to check out which stocks are able to hold their own. And, I always like relative winners. And right now, that's the very food and beverage names that are being highlighted at this week's Consumer Analyst Group of New York Conference. They call it CAGNY. The big consumer packaged goods shindig that happens every year. But if this decline is making you want to get more defensive, we got a conundrum. Actually, it's the eternal conundrum. If you're going to own a beverage stock right now, what do you buy? Do you buy the PepsiCo or do you buy the Coca-Cola Corporation? Boy, this is tough. A lot of people think that Coke and Pepsi are interchangeable. Some couldn't even tell the difference on a blind taste test. But these are actually very different companies with stocks that are performing disparately. Right now, right here, I prefer the one that's actually acting better. Yep, I prefer PepsiCo more than Coke here. We could do this test. Just a sec, let me see. This is the real definitive test, okay? We are going to taste test the toughest thing in the world to tell the difference in, right? Here we go. This is a definitive taste test. PepsiCo. Definitely better. Since the beginning of this year, Pepsi has rallied 10%, while Coke is up just 4%. These two stocks are always in a horse race. Sometimes the wrong one is in the lead, but not this time, which is why I think Pep is a good place to go if we continue to get weaker. Just consider the latest quarters. PepsiCo popped while Coca-Cola just drowned. Yeah, Coke reported a 1-cent earnings beat back on the 12th, but it was a low-quality beat driven by a lot of one-time benefits like gains on hedges and lower ad spending in Europe, as well as 2 extra shipping days in the quarter versus last year. Man, that's granular. Even with that, though, the company's global volumes up just 3% for the quarter, which is slightly below what the street was expecting. PepsiCo, on the other hand, it blew away the expectations when it reported 2 days later. Delivering a 3-cent earnings beat off a $1.06 basis, and this time it was a high-quality beat, driven by pretty amazing 5% organic revenue growth. And management's outlook for 2013 was pretty darn bright. CEO Indra Nooyi, she pointed out that at the beginning of last year, she told us that PepsiCo needed to use 2012 to reinvest in itself. But now they're done that. The business was good. The investment paid off. The company's ready to compete and create value in 2013 like I haven't seen it in, I don't know, a very long time. No wonder PEP has been leaving knockout in the dust. Okay, we know PepsiCo's doing better than Coca-Cola. The question is why? I think a lot of it comes down to the softness in soft drinks. Sugary sodas have been getting tons of bad press lately, and they could be facing increased regulatory pressure, thank you, Mayor Bloomberg, and higher potential taxes, not to mention the fact that you can't even buy a big gulp in New York City anymore. Given this backdrop, would you rather own Coca-Cola, which is essentially 100% beverages, or PepsiCo, which is only 40% beverages and 60% snacks? PepsiCo is being saved by Frito-Lay and its global foods division. What we want to do, let's have a taste test between PepsiCo snacks and Coca-Cola snacks. Not fair. And look, the beverage business is healthier too. There is, because it's got the Gatorade and the Tropicana juices. That stuff's good for you. In fact, almost 40% of Pepsi's North American beverage volume is non-carbonated, and only about 20% is full sugar soda. Plus, within that 20%, they got Mountain Dew. I mean, look, I know, I'm not having one for lunch here. Maybe you can tell. It's bizarrely become one of the most popular soda brands out there. I mean, it's on fire in India. Mountain Dew, India. I don't know. Can't make this stuff up. At Coca-Cola, carbonated beverages represent over 75% of the total volumes. So in a world where soda is under siege, PepsiCo's the winner. Plus, Pepsi, unlike Coca-Cola, has a major restructuring program underway that they started a year ago. And that gives them a bunch of catalysts going forward. Company cut out layers of middle management, rationalized the supply chain, reduced their headcount. Okay, business speak for laying off people. All of which should deliver some $3 billion in savings by 2015. And PepsiCo can use the money it's saving to support its brands. In fact, already the restructurings improved PepsiCo's productivity by over $1 billion last year. Oh, and if for whatever reason this plan doesn't work out, PepsiCo always has the option of breaking itself up into a beverage company and snack company in order to unlock value, something Coca-Cola can't do, and something I don't want. To be very clear, I think it's foolish. There's always some guy, agitating for that. Indra Nooyi's right to keep it together. Hey, it makes a lot of sense, snacks and soda. This past year, PepsiCo made big strides in terms of catching up to Coca-Cola when it comes to marketing spending. They're much more competitive now than they were just 12 months ago. Beyond that, PepsiCo has been rolling out a bunch of innovative new products, like Quaker Real Medley's packaged oatmeal. It comes with real fruit and nuts, as well as Pepsi Next. That's a cola with 60% less sugar. Gatorade Energy Chews, and the incredibly popular Doritos Locos Tacos. Man, I got There's still nothing like them, right? I mean, come on. Cool Ranch. What else? Pepsi formed a joint venture in China last year with Tingyi, a local Chinese company. That made it the largest beverage player in the People's Republic, giving them major exposure to bottled water, tea, and juice in a very non-risky way. Coca-Cola's been investing heavily in Chinese bottled water business, but this Pepsi-Tingyi alliance is giving them serious trouble. Plus, back in the fourth quarter, PepsiCo made some very shareholder-friendly moves, announcing a $10 billion buyback, putting through a 5.6% dividend boost. Okay, hey, listen, purists, not as good as the 10% dividend boost that Coca-Cola gave you today. But given the superior organic growth you get from PepsiCo, an equal yield skews you toward PEP, not KO. Especially when PepsiCo sells for 15.75 times forward earnings and Coke sells for 16.2 times forward earnings. Remember, that's apples to apples or soda to soda. Now, just a pure oddity, but it does drive home how right it is that PepsiCo is currently outperforming Coke. So here's the bottom line. Not only is PepsiCo's business doing better than Coca-Cola's with a better performing stock, but the stock is cheaper, too. If you're looking to get more defensive in the midst of this pullback, which I know many of you are, PepsiCo is the beverage stock to buy on the way down, right into the nasty sell-off if it continues. Let me be clear about what I mean. PepsiCo is less than $1 off its high. If I wanted to buy 100 shares, I would start with 25 tomorrow. Buy 25 more every point and a half down. If you buy all at once, you are not hearing me, you're not listening to me. I'm simply saying that Pepsi deserves to trade at a premium to Coke right now. Not that it's time to load up the soda and snack truck with PepsiCo. Let's leave it at that. Bernice in New York. Bernice, what's up?
Well, I've been listening to your program and have been watching Diageo. It's a pretty highly priced stock, so I'm interested in finding out what I should do with it. I've seen it go up and down and up and down, and wondered where you see a good exit point.
Bernice, listen to me. What's the overall trajectory of Diageo? What's it been? It's been up. And that's why I put it last year as one of my up stocks that you should buy on any single discount. And I think that Diageo, when it does give you a discount, remember, that's the whiskey company that is taking over the world by storm, particularly India, where, boy, do they love whiskey. All right, let's go to Jim in Arizona. Jim.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Jim. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I have shares of General Mills dating back to the 80s, and the selling price was about $6 a share when it was purchased. So my dividend yield is over 20% based on that original cost. Today's market, the dividend's around 3%.
Right.
Unfortunately, the stocks are set up as income, and it was not reinvested. My question is, should I keep General Mills for the steady income from the dividend, or should I sell it and go with something faster growing?
I have never recommended against owning General Mills, and I think Ken Powell's a worthy steward of the company. I don't want you to sell it. I do blanch when I hear that you didn't reinvest the dividend. This is the ultimate dividend reinvestment stock. Start it, call your broker tomorrow. Reinvest that dividend. General Mills, it's good. Okay, so it moved up $1.50 after the quarter and after the Heinz deal. So it could go back to 43. I would just buy more. Leslie in Minnesota. Leslie.
Hi, Jim. We watch your show, or try to watch it every day. I recently inherited a large amount of Hormel stock. I've never owned stocks before, only mutual funds. I grew up hearing about Hormel my whole life. My dad's advice was to never sell Hormel, and the recent acquisition of Skippy, he'd just be doing cartwheels over that. It split 4 times in the 80s. The last split took a long time. I watched it for years. My question is, what is your opinion about Hormel growing in the next few years with possibly another split? And should I listen to my father and not sell?
Your dad has both horse and spam sense. I think that Hormel is one of the great stocks. We featured it after they did the peanut butter edition, and we thought it was just brilliant. As a dividend aristocrat, it is another stock that if you sell, I might have to come to your house with a can of spam and make you drink the juice. All right, looking for some refreshment? I think you need some pep in your step. Hold just a second. This is definitely the best water. I think that the company is now distancing itself from Coca-Cola, and the stock is going to do the same. Stay with Cramer.